Now once again, welcome back CBSE class 12th bio student. Now our next topic is STAMEN, microsporangium and pollen grain. STAMEN, microsporangium and pollen grain. Pollen grain. Today we are going to complete the STAMEN and the TS of microsporangium. The whole topic is completed in 2 videos. Okay. Now first we talk about the STAMEN. The STAMEN, as we know that it is the male reproductive part of the flower. The male floral unit is called the stamen. The stamen, it is composed of long, cylindrical, long or slender, not cylindrical, it is slender stalk, and this slender stalk is called filament. Filament. Filament having 2 ends. The upper end is called the terminal end and the lower end is called the proximal end. This proximal end is embedded in thalamus. Okay, is embedded in thalamus. This is the terminal end, and this terminal end enclosed in anther. This is the anther which is present in terminal end, and this is the filament. Where the anther joined with the filament is called the connective. So this is the stamen made up of the long cylindrical stalk, that is called the filament, and one anther is present. One anther is present at the terminal end of the filament. Now how the anther looks like, or what is the structure and the shape of the typical angiospermic anther? A typical angiospermic anther. A typical angiospermic anther is composed of 2 lobes. It is composed of 2 lobes. Okay, one and 2. It is composed of 2 lobes. This is the structure of the anther. And this anther is joined with the filament. This is filament. These are the lobes which is present here. This is bilobed in nature, in which pollens are present. Okay, these are the 4 lobes. This is pollen sac, pollen which is present in pollen sac. Sac is the pocket. Pollen which is present in the pollen sac. Pollen sac. And 2 lobes are present here. So what is about the anther? It is bilobed. Bi means 2, lobe means lobes by which it is formed. So it is the bilobed in nature, and each lobe having 2 parts. That part is called the theca. This is bilobed, two lobes are there, and each lobe has two parts, and that part is called theca. One and one. Okay, so it is bilobed in nature, having two theca. So what is the next characteristic which is present in the anther? First, it is bilobed in nature, and second, each lobe have two theca. Okay, each lobe have two theca. So it is also called dithecous. Dithecous. Di is two, thecous is for the theca. It is made up of two thecas. Two lobes are present, and in each lobe two theca is present. Total four thecas are present. It has a lengthwise longitudinal groove. This is the lengthwise groove. That is called line of, that is a groove for the splitting at the time of the maturity. It is split up to spread the pollen from it. This line is called line of dehiscence. Line of dehiscence. Okay. The third important character, it contains a splitting line, the lengthwise longitudinal groove. Longitudinal groove is present. That is called line of dehiscence. Okay, third important character of the anther. Now anther, it is made up of four theca. It means it is made up of four microsporangia. Theca is actually the microsporangia. It is made up of four microsporangia. Each bilobe, means two lobes are there. Each lobe two theca is there, and that theca is actually the microsporangium. What is the importance of microsporangium? Microsporangium is actually, it is used for the further development of the pollen sac and that the pollen grain. What is the role of microsporangium? Microsporangium further develops pollen sac is the pocket, and then pollen. So that is the importance of the microsporangium. So what about the stamen? The stamen contain a long cylindrical stalk, that is called the filament. Filament having two ends, one is the proximal end and one is called the terminal end. The proximal end is attached with the thalamus. In terminal end, one bag is present, that is called the anther. Okay, the anther, it is bilobed in nature. Bi means two lobes are present, and in each lobe two thecas are present. So total four thecas are there. It contains a longitudinal, here the groove is a longitudinal groove, that is called the line of dehiscence. At the time of maturity, this anther sac burst from that part and the pollen is released from there. This is the pollen sac, and this is the pollen, that is the sexual male unit of the flower which is present in it. Okay, this theca is also called microsporangia, which further develops into pollen sac and ultimately in the pollen grains. Okay, next move towards the microsporangium. Microsporangium is actually the internal arrangement which is present in the anther. If we cut the TS of the anther, we see all the arrangements which is present in the anther, and that arrangement is termed as the microsporangium. So next move towards the structure of the microsporangium. We have to study about the transverse section of microsporangium. Next is the structure of microsporangium. And what we are going to study? We have studied about the transverse section of microsporangium. Transverse section of microsporangium. Transverse section, if we cut the anther like this is called the transverse section. Then the transverse section of the microsporangium, we see the outer to inner structure of the microsporangium. We know very well it is bilobed in nature. The two lobes are clearly seen. Even 4 thecas are also clearly visible here. The outer layer is composed of 3 layers actually. This is the first. This is the second. And one more layer is present. And this is the third layer. The outermost layer is epidermis. Okay. Now after epidermis, next is the endothecium. Inside the endothecium is middle layer. It is nearly oval or round in shape. The first character is it is nearly circular in outline. Okay, nearly circular, which is composed of 3 layers: epidermis, endothecium, and the middle layer. Inside the middle layer, the 4th innermost layer is present, and that 4th innermost layer is called tapetum. The 4th innermost layer is called tapetum. The 4th innermost layer is called tapetum. In that the innermost layer, and actually it is the place where the sporogenous tissues are present, and that is responsible for the formation of spores. Okay, what is present inside this is the sporogenous tissue. Similarly, here also tapetum is present. Here also tapetum is present. Here also tapetum is present. Here the group of tissue is there, that is called the group of tissue which is present in between all the lobes, that is called the connective. That is called the connective tissue. Connective tissue. This is the TS of the microsporangium. Okay, what is the TS of microsporangium? It is somehow circular in nature. Made up, the outer layer is composed of 3 layers. Okay, this outermost is called the epidermis, then endothecium, then middle layer. Inside the middle layer, tapetum is present. Tapetum is present, and inside the tapetum, sporogenous tissues are present. So this is the TS of the microsporangium. So what are the characteristics which is present here? First, it is somehow circular in nature. It is somehow circular in nature. Okay, it is somehow circular in nature. Okay, the first character, it is somehow circular in nature. And next, it is surrounded by 4 walls. Surrounded by 4 walls. And what is this 4 walls? First is the epidermis. Now what is the epidermis? Epidermis is the outermost first layer, the first from the outside. Then second is the endothecium. It is second layer from outside. Then the middle layer. And what is the role played by these 3 layers? The 2 important functions that is performed by these layers. First, these layers are protective in nature. They protect the pollen sac. The first is provide protection. And second, at the time of splitting, they play very much important role. So they help in dehiscence. At the time of maturity, dehiscence of anther or anther sac, pollen sac, at the time of maturity. So these are the 2 important functions performed by these 3 layers. The 4th part is also present here, and that is called the tapetum. Now what is the importance of tapetum? First, it is the innermost. The 4th one, it is the innermost one. Second, it nourishes the developing pollen grain. Developing pollen grain. Pollen grain is a sexual unit. Okay, the male reproductive unit, the male gamete. The male gamete is nourishing by this tapetum. And one important factor is there. The cells of tapetum consist of cytoplasm and it is binucleated. Cells are binucleated, having cytoplasm. More than one nucleus is present here. Inside this, the next point is second. This is the second. The third important feature which is present in the microsporangia, that young anther contain sporogenous tissue at the center. At the center of microsporangium, sporogenous tissues are present. This sporogenous tissues plays a very important role in the formation of the sexual gamete in male part of the flower, that is called the pollen grain. Okay, now in next video we will study how the pollen grain is formed and what is the nature of the pollen grain. Dear students, we are going to complete all the topics prescribed by CBSE syllabus. But for going on continuously, it is very important that you must like, you put comments, share, subscribe, and the most important also, press bell icon. You are the grown-up student and you know very well. After subscription only, you get all the pre-information of uploading video. All for today. Bye-bye.